Hi there, everyone. Welcome. I'm your host, Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Welcome to the Night Sky this week for December 2nd, 2024. How you guys doing? Please put in and share where you're watching from. I'd love to see that in the comment section. For some reason, I'm having a technical issue that I'm not able to type in right now, but I can definitely see your comments. I see Marsha is there and Ryan as well. Uh, Ryan's looking from Northern Ireland. Wish there were no clouds. Marcia saying finally being able to catch this live. Beautiful winter skies. Absolutely, Jack. Great for you to be joining us from Santa Monica, California. So fantastic. I love seeing all of these comments come in, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, wherever in the social media universe you are. It's great to have you on board. Great to be back online. We are starting a new month. Lots of new stargazing stuff. I've been really busy as well. I've got something cooking at National Geographic as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing some good stuff with my friends at Nat Geo in the upcoming days. So just watch my timeline, whether on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, wherever you like to be hanging out on the social universe. I'll be posting some updates there for you as well. And hey, what's in the sky? Well, this week is really a cool week because it's kind of transitioning with the moon is going to be really neat because the first part of the week we don't really have the moon in the evening skies. And that's going to leave behind really nice opportunities to see deep sky objects, really learn the constellations and dive into those constellations to see some of those treasures. And let's just go into the planetarium program right away, and I'll show you what I mean. And I see Catherine here from Germany as well. Welcome. Nice of you to join us. And so this is the sky for December 2nd, 2024. This is Monday as we're doing this live stream. And you can see this is the view towards the southwestern skies after sunset. I would say about maybe an hour after your local sunset. Um, this is what would greet you. So right off the bat, what's going to knock your socks off is Venus, right? So if you look, Venus right in the southwest, pinning down the lower skies there. You can't miss it. It's definitely the brightest star-like object. Venus is really interesting, by the way, because it's been mistaken for UFOs for many, many decades. Calls into police stations, radio stations saying there's an unusually bright object pinning down the low sunset skies, inundated with phone calls. And Venus is one of those culprits for many UFO reports in the past. And if you get a chance to view Venus with your own eyes, you'll see why probably that happens. It's because it is just so brilliant. It just knocks your eyes out. It's gorgeous. Francine, welcome on board, watching from New York. Great to have you here on the live stream today. And so Venus is definitely something really easy to see. And then to the upper left of Venus, you'll see two other well, you'll actually see with the naked eye one yellowish golden colored star, much fainter than Venus. That's actually planet Saturn. If you view it with a just the naked eye, it looks like a bright star, much fainter than Venus. But if you have a telescope, and you do need a telescope for this, you'll get to see those iconic rings of Saturn. Look at that. They're just so this is kind of a simulated view. I'm using Sky Safari Pro, my favorite planetarium software, just to render what it would look like through a telescope. We're using high magnification eyepieces. This is what you would see with a backyard telescope. Really cool, really nice to see, and it looks like what you would expect Saturn to look like with those rings. It's incredible to see that. I call it the wow planet because if you've shown this to Pug, which I have to thousands of people during star parties that I've done for many decades, participated in, and whenever I show someone for the first time Saturn through the telescope, they say, wow, because it really looks like what they expect it to look like. Jim, welcome from Florida. Wow, love the show. Great. I'm so happy that you're joining, Jim, from Twitter. On Twitter. Very nice. or I should say YouTube, I guess. I think, yes, YouTube. So Saturn, definitely something you want to be able to take a look at. Neptune, you can see marked here on the sky chart, but Neptune, you do need a telescope for. It's magnitude 8, which means it's really regulated to very high power binoculars, or better yet, a small telescope. And you look for this greenish, small, very faint green disk. Doesn't look like a star. It does look like actually a disk through the eyepiece. Then pinning down the northeastern skies, after darkness falls, you'll see another bright star. It's not quite as bright as Venus is in the southwest, but in the east northeast will be Jupiter rising very soon after sunset. And I'll right off the bat, I'll tell you, Jupiter right now, for the entire year of 2024, it is the best time to see the largest planet in the solar system. This gas giant, which, by the way, over 1,200 Earths could fit inside the body of this planet, Jupiter is undergoing what's called opposition. And opposition means that the planet, for sky watchers, basically means that it's at its biggest and brightest in the sky. So best opportunity to be observing this planet is right now. It's officially on December 7th that it is going to be in opposition. So this later this week, in just a few days, but you don't have to wait. Right now, this planet is currently the best position anytime this week or even next week. If you've got clear skies, I highly recommend looking at Jupiter. And if you've got binoculars, with binoculars, it gets interesting because you'll see this. So Jupiter will just appear like a very, very bright a star, but next door to it, you'll see this is kind of a simulation of what you'd see in binoculars. Look at that. So Jupiter's at the center view, right? But look on either side, you'll see little dots. Each of these dots are one of the moons of Jupiter. Jupiter has dozens of moons, but there are four that are very large, and they were first seen by Galileo. This is kind of like what Galileo saw in his primitive telescope in 1609 when he first spied Jupiter. And you can mimic that view, really see it for yourself, just like what Galileo saw, the Italian astronomer, 4 centuries ago, with just a regular pair of binoculars. You just have to hold those binoculars very steady, and this is the view that you'll be able to get. And what is really interesting, you see those, it says Ganymede, Europa, Io, and Callisto. These are what are called, very appropriately, I think, the Galilean moons, and named after, of course, the Italian astronomer who first discovered them through the newly invented telescope. And in 1609, the telescope was fresh, brand new, but it wasn't very powerful. It's probably equal power to an average pair of modern binoculars, but it's enough power, magnification, to give you that view, something like 7 to 10 times, 15 times magnification, uh, more than the human eye, is enough to be able to spot these little dots on either side of Jupiter. And they will move. Those dots over time, over many hours, will appear to move because they move because these moons are orbiting Jupiter. Just like, the planets orbit the sun, these moons of Jupiter are orbiting the gas giant, and within a few hours you can actually detect some of that movement. So let me see if I click on Jupiter, and let me center Jupiter like so. And if I move, uh, look at the moons. Do you see that they're moving? This is hour by hour over the course of an hour. You can see that they're moving in relation to each other. Over course, now it's getting dawn, right? It's setting at dawn in the west. But look at the moons. You see the moons are kind of moving. So that movement that you're seeing in relation to each other, each of those dots, means that they're actually orbiting the planet. It's really, really interesting. Here you can see, if I go into the magical way of with using this planetarium software, go and zoom in on Jupiter, kind of zoom out, and then look at that. You see all the different moons? These are the orbits. There's Jupiter, and there's Io, the innermost moon, large moon. Then you have Europa and Ganymede, and of course Callisto way out here. You can see. And so these are the orbits. Just it kind of looks like a miniature version of the solar system, right? So very similar to that. But we're talking about a planet, not a star, at the center of the action here. And all of these are the moons that orbit. And you can see hour by hour. See how they're moving? Look at Europa, Ganymede. See how they're rotating around Jupiter hour by hour. They will change their appearance of in the binoculars that you're looking. And this is why, because hour by hour they move. And if you just wait a few hours, let's say you go out and at say 8 o'clock at night, and then you go out 4 hours later, like this is at 12 o'clock at night, this is where they would be. And if I go to the side, see how they all kind of look like dots beside Jupiter? Look, I'll go, this is at 12:30 a.m. And if I go to 10:30, 9:30, 8:30, 7:30. You see that? They're moving around in their positions related to each other. So this is, you can see this movement of the planets. They appear even in binoculars. Isn't that the coolest thing? I think that's just like so neat. And we're going to just go here back to the good old Earth and looking at the skies. And let's see if we can zoom out. There we go. And we'll put it at sunset, which is very early, by the way. Here in Montreal, Canada, where I am, it's like around 4:30 now. So that's Jupiter. It's at opposition, meaning it's biggest and brightest. And through a telescope, by the way, if you look at it through a telescope, and that's why I'm going to just simulate that here before we leave Jupiter behind in today's show, this is what you would see through a telescope. And what I want you to know, through using high magnification eyepieces, you'll get to even see the glands, the atmospheric structures of this gas giant planet. Just imagine 1,200 Earths would easily fit inside of this planet. And these are cloud bands, the belts, the main belts of Jupiter. You can see cloud belts, these brown structures. These are easily visible through a small backyard telescope, nothing more. You should try it. If you've never seen it, it's really one of those amazing things, and you never get tired of watching Jupiter, just like with Saturn's rings. I never get tired of looking at Jupiter and all the details. And if you time it right, you can even see shadows of the moons as they, if the moon is in front of the planet, there's sometimes the shadow of those moons are cast on the cloud tops of Jupiter. I mean, it's that amazing. And so there's so much to see with Jupiter and so much to learn from it. Highly recommend it. And Jupiter right now, as I said, is in opposition officially end of this week on December 7th, 6th, and 7th. And so, but you don't have to wait until that date. Now is great. Anytime this week and next week is prime target for watching that. I like to welcome Briven on watching on Facebook from Zambia. Love to see you on the broadcast today. Deanna's also here. Diego from Fresno, California. Lovely. So nice of all of you to join us today. So we can see there's lots of stuff regarding Jupiter, but that's not all. There's a lot more to see. So this is Jupiter rising. So when do you see it? Jupiter's rising in the east soon after sunset. Okay, so that's what you want to see Jupiter. But we go back to our friend here, Venus, and we kind of look, wait until it gets darker. You see Venus sets, right? Once the sky gets totally dark, you'll notice there's no moon, right? You see? There's absolutely no moon in the sky. The moon is very close to the sun still. But later this week, in a few days, this week, later, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the moon will be a player in the sky, and we watch that. So just stay tuned for a few minutes. I'll get back to the moon. But if we now look at deep sky stuff, which I think this first half of the week, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, great times, even into Thursday, great times to watch for deep sky targets. Look for deep sky targets. And I think right now, really one of the most amazing things, of course, are star clusters and also galaxies. And the easiest galaxy really to see beyond the Milky Way is the Andromeda Galaxy, the Great Andromeda Galaxy, also known as Messier 31. And Messier 31 it's just incredible. It's one of those showpieces. It's a bucket list item. All of the Messier objects are. It's a catalog that's great for the novice beginner to start with and learning about the night deep sky targets in the night sky. And where it is, it's located. It's easy to find thanks to the Great Square of Pegasus. This is the chest of the mythical flying horse, and it just looks like this just diamond or big square almost right straight up. So those of us in the mid-northern latitudes across Europe, Asia, North America, this is what you'll see high in the sky in the mid-evening once it gets totally dark. Look for these four medium bright stars, visible even from suburbs of cities, these four stars that make this big square. And if you follow this broken line of stars, two lines coming from one of the corner stars right here, Alpharet, this corner star of the Great Square of Pegasus, and you follow along these broken line, and just above here is this giant fuzzy object that you'll see with binoculars and even with the naked eye. It's one of the farthest objects the unaided human eye can see. It's a galaxy 2.6 million light years away. It's 3 times larger than the Milky Way. It's called the Great Andromeda Galaxy. This is how it looks like through photography. If you actually can do some astrophotography, here's a beautiful photo. And this is just amazing. It's a galaxy that contains about a trillion stars, 3 times larger than the Milky Way. It's also a spiral galaxy, and we're seeing it sort of almost edge on at a very steep angle where we can see the Andromeda Galaxy. And think about it. You're looking back in time about 2.6 million years back in time. Imagine, what was the Earth like 2.6 million years ago? What kind of animals were there? It's just amazing to think what the Earth was like when the light left on its journey from this distant object. And you can see this with the naked eye. It looks like a very, very faint fuzzy patch. You need kind of darker skies to see this, so not too much light pollution with the naked eye, and you'll be able to catch it as a very faint little fuzzy dot. Your camera phone, your smartphone will capture it. I'll post a picture on my timeline to show you that a handheld shot from my phone, this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max, just to give you a reference, an Apple phone, can actually capture handheld a photo of the Andromeda Galaxy. It looks like a little point of light, right? It doesn't look like what I just showed you with this all that stuff. I can't show you something that looks like the Hubble took it, but it looks like a little point of light, very, very modest point of light, fuzzy light, but just to know that you're actually seeing the light from the core of millions and millions of stars all huddled together in the core of this galaxy, 2.6 million light years away. And that's how long those photons of light traveled to reach your eye. I mean, to reach the phone, the lens on your phone. I mean, how cool is that? So the Andromeda Galaxy, highly recommend that early this week, tonight, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Great time to spot it because the moon's not in, the glare from the moon isn't going to interfere looking at it. And Andromeda is almost near the zenith, straight up in the early evening. You can see this is around 6:46, 7 o'clock at night. It's almost straight up above you. So highly recommend that, looking for that. And a good guidepost also very to finding the Andromeda. Here's another stargazing trick I'm going to show you is look for the Cassiopeia constellation. Cassiopeia, the queen in Greek mythology. It looks like a giant W, like a kind of a crooked W of stars. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see that kind of squashed W shape? All right. So if you find that in the sky, also very high up, these are brighter stars than the great square of Pegasus, by the way, that you see here. Much brighter than that, so it's easier. And if you look at the right side of that W of Cassiopeia, you see that triangle there? Just where does the triangle point to? And you kind of go with your binoculars, use your binoculars and kind of sweep the sky to the right of this triangular shape of stars, the right side of the W, and it'll lead you right to the beautiful M31 Andromeda Galaxy. And through binoculars, you'll definitely see it looks like an oval smudge. It's not a star by any means. The binoculars will really help you find that. And a small telescope, too, will give you much more detail of that galaxy. And you'll know where to point your smartphone, too. It's really that easy. It's highly recommended. It's just so gorgeous. Ryan, I love you too. Great. Thank you so much. Marcia is also here. Andrew makes this so understandable and fun. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's something easy. It's something that you can try. So step out into your backyard, onto your balcony if you live in an apartment building, or if you're lucky enough, go down to the beach or to the lakeside or anywhere where there's clear. You got a clear view of your overhead skies. This is just it's a humbling, awe-inspiring sight to know that that little smudge that you're seeing is a galaxy like our Milky Way, filled with hundreds of billions of stars. And just think of the possibility of how many worlds are orbiting these stars and how many Earth-like planets could there be, or life on some of those planets. It's just so fascinating to think about, very humbling, and it's just a fantastic view. And that now is a great time to spot Andromeda. I can't emphasize this enough. So check that out. Now, what else is there before we finish off today's broadcast? I wanted to, of course, go back to the moon. The moon, you can see right there, I'm just put it back on Monday, December 2nd. You can see it's too close to the sun to really see. It's right there. This is about a half hour after local sunset. Let me just put it up to 5 there, 5 p.m. But look at this. So I'm going to do this on Tuesday. The moon is going to be just underneath Venus. It'll be quite a challenge to see still on Tuesday. But look at this. By Wednesday, the crescent moon is going to be pairing up with Venus. An absolutely gorgeous sight. You don't want to miss this. Looking at the moon and Venus together in the sky. Again, Wednesday, December 4th. Mark that on your calendar. About a half hour after your local sunset, find a clear view towards the southwest, a spot to observe right down to the horizon in the southwest, and you'll get this just a fantastic photo opportunity with your camera. I'd love to see your photographs. Try to share that with me on Wednesday. If I've got clear skies, I know I'll definitely try. I'm getting snow here in the northeast of North America, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I've got snow outside already, but that's not going to deter me. If as long as I've got clear skies, I'm going to try. But this is beautiful. Look at that, a crescent moon and Venus together. And this is kind of like the view that you'll get through binoculars. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. What a great pairing. This is very eye-catching, easy to do, don't need to practice. And I mean, it's finding the crescent moon and the brightest star-like object in the after sunset, low towards the horizon. Doesn't get any easier than that. Now, if we kind of look at it a little bit later, you can see by like an hour and a half after sunset, this pair is still there, but even lower toward the horizon. You might want to try your hand at seeing if how long you can watch the pair for after sunset. But if we move the in the calendar down to the next day, by Thursday, the moon is embedded in Aries. And sorry, that's let me see here. Um, whoa. Let me see if I can get that. I should say Capricornus, the sea goat constellation. And then if we continue moving by Friday, look at that. By Friday, the moon is heading into Aquarius, which is cool. Saturday, the moon is going to be pairing up with Saturn. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Saturn and the moon. So mark that on your calendar. Saturday, December 7th, the moon and Saturn will be together. I think that's going to look gorgeous. By Sunday, the moon is going to be flipping onto the other side of Saturn. Gorgeous. And it's a quarter moon by Sunday night. So Saturday, the moon is on one side of Saturn, and it looks like a very bright yellowish orange star. And then Sunday night, the moon pops onto the other side of Saturn and is actually sandwich the moon is between Saturn and Neptune. But remember, Neptune, I know the planetarium software here is showing that, but Sky Safari shows this. But it's Neptune is eighth magnitude, meaning you need strong binoculars to see that bluish green dot of Neptune, especially next to the glare of the moon. But if we continue looking at the moon by Monday, you can see the moon is going to be off to the other side of Neptune. But look at this. One last thing I want you to maybe try, and this is a challenge. In Pisces, the fishes, the other zodiacal constellation, the moon is going to be just tucked underneath Pisces. And what Pisces, one of the features that's cool about Pisces is what's called the circlet. That's this group here. Now, let me see if I can turn on. It's called an asterism, meaning it's a group of stars that's not a constellation, but it's a group that's very eye-catching, and humans have made a show of it. Like it's like they've marked it off, like connect the dots. And you see this? It's called the circlet. See these stars? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven stars that makes this circlet formation, as it's known. It's the head of one of the fishes. But the one on the easternmost, or the most left part of this group of circlet, this little star, see how red it is? It's one of the reddest stars that we know of, and it's called 19 Pisces, or TX Pisceum, and it's 900 light years away. And it's one of the reddest stars. It's very unusual to see a super red star. It's because there's a lot of carbon soot in the upper atmosphere of the star. And as the starlight is going through that carbon soot of in its outer atmospheres, it's bending the starlight towards the red part of the spectrum. It's the same kind of physics that's going on when you look at the sun at sunset and it looks more orange or red. That's the same physics. The starlight is being bent to the red part of the spectrum because of a lot of dust in the upper atmosphere of this giant star 900 light years away. You're looking back in time 900 years. So this is a fifth magnitude star. So it's not quite visible to the naked eye. You need binoculars. It's an easy binocular object. It's going to be very near the moon. So using binoculars, you will be able to spot this red star. I'm going to put a sky chart for all of this, guys. All of this stuff I'm going to put sky charts for, so you won't miss. So watch my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter or X account, and YouTube, as well as a post. So I'll be sharing all of this with you guys. So don't worry about that. Thanks for joining me. Thanks so much for spending a few moments of your day with me. I hope you learned a few things about the night sky with me. If you like to learn more, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. It'll be coming out soon, I hope. We'll solve some technical issues, but yeah, sign up there and you won't miss anything. And of course, subscribe to my channel. If you're new here, love to see you come back. I hope you learned a few things. There's always some amazing things in the sky. Every week we do their stuff, and I always share them onto my social with you guys for free. So do subscribe. It does help grow my channel. And let's build a very strong, safe, inclusive stargazing community. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you stay safe and healthy. And as always, I wish you clear skies. Until the next video, bye-bye.